you're welcome to this week's edition of The Magnate. Remember, by now, you know that The Magnate is a program that we bring in the veterans, the magnates, the business mogul, to add value to the growing businesses. We call it mentoring on television, and you also call it lending a voice to business growth. Today, we have a personality that has several parts. In fact, he's added value to several fields of endeavor. What am I talking about? Let's give you this background report to capture the essence, the profile of our magnate for the week. We'll be back to meet him, and then we interact. He will share his thoughts with us on the over 7 decades on Earth. Let's meet you on the other side.
Professor Engr Fola Lasisi, better known as Fola Lasisi, was born on the 23rd February 1943 in Odonshelu, Alaro, near Ijebu-Ode in the Ijebu Northeast local government area of Ogun State. He attended Yaba Technical Institute for secondary education, where he finished with distinction in June 1962. He was awarded the African Scholarship Program of American Universities in July 1963 to University of Washington. Settled to study civil engineering and graduated in June 1966, spending only 3 years. He completed a master's degree in structure with a University of Washington fellowship a year later in 1967. He later proceeded to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, sponsored by the University of Ife and USAID in 1972, where he obtained a PhD degree in agricultural engineering in 1974. He became a professional engineer in 1972 and a registered engineer in 1974. Between June 1966 and September 1969, Professor Lasisi worked as design structural engineer with Marshall, Barrister and Park, Incorporated, Seattle, Washington. He returned to Nigeria in October 1969 to join the University of Ife as grade 2 lecturer. He rose through the ranks to become a professor in October 1984. At Ife, he was an acting head of department between 1977 and 1981. Served in many committees, especially those involved in the development of the campus. He was a member of the committee that developed the agriculture and civil engineering programs. He was chairman OA University Consultancy Services between 1989 to 1992. He has served on national committees on Code of Practice for Engineering, Code of Design for Highways, the Nigerian Standard Organization, Special Demolition Program for Large Structures in Lagos, etc. He has been chairman of Ogun State Agricultural Development Corporation, a member of Council of Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, and currently a council member of the Nigerian Institute of Management. Professor Lasisi was the pioneer vice chancellor of the University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State for 2 terms between 1991 to 2000. He was also the pioneer vice chancellor of Crescent University, Abeokuta, between 2000 to 2007. He was chairman, Committee of Vice Chancellor of Nigerian Universities between 1996 to 1997. He is a fellow of various professional bodies, including Nigerian Society of Engineers, American Society of Civil Engineers, Nigerian Institute of Agricultural Engineers, and the Nigerian Academy of Engineering, in addition to membership of others.
You're welcome back. The program is The Magnates, where we have the veterans lending a voice to the growth of our business. And of course, also mentoring on television. We've been sharing thoughts with Professor Engr Fola Lasisi. Thank you very much for adding value.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, now, you have talked copiously about engineering practice in the country.
Yes.
And one of the key things that really still bother us, because you have also done a lot of structural works, is the collapse building. What do you think we have done wrong? Have we gotten it wrong? I mean, as a major player in that sector.
I think that we've been trying over many years to identify so many factors that may be responsible. Ordinarily, the first impression, is it material? And you will find that sometimes it's not. Is it design? Is it overload? Is it quality of workmanship? Yes. So all these things are encapsulated in the problem. The first is that the professionals are not used in design of some of these structures. So if you are, and some people decide to raise a building that was originally a bungalow and they raise it to 2-3 floors, forgetting that the foundation cannot carry the load. Secondly, people are producing drawings that were not properly trained to do it, and putting where columns needs to be. And if you use block work, do you fill the holes? Do you put the reinforcement? So those require special training and experience. Do you mix concrete properly? Are you using correct mix proportion? Are you using the correct type of cement? Are you using the correct aggregates, what you call stones and sand? Are you using the quality? So quality control is a part of it. Okay. Then you move forward and look at supervision during construction. Who is seeing it? Even when you do a building and you design it properly, during construction, what is the supervision process? Do you have a person with experience who comes to check or who stays in the site when the work is being done? We call it in situ supervision. Are you there with watching and seeing that things were done properly? So if all these things were done and they are in the code, the procedure is very clearly written out. Okay. But most people don't, they want to cut corners.
So what are the sanctions if they are not doing it properly?
This is really
you have a proper sanction to properly sanitize the industry.
It is. The thing is that the control, the process is that you have divisions in the ministries, okay, in every community that is supposed to supervise and monitor. Okay. You get drawings, you first of all get approval. When it is under construction, there must be checks by those supervisory organizations. Most are not doing their work. You will have seen when we were discussing where we met last time, I was talking about people in the field in agriculture who are extension officers. The extension officers may go to their office on Monday, by the evening they disappear. And they only go back on Friday. So in between they were not there. And so many things can happen. Okay. And the same thing happens in construction. The officers are supposed to have a site agent. In any construction work, there is somebody who is to be there 24 hours a day when the work is being done. So you have an agent there. Then the supervisors who design must come and check regularly. Okay. So that if all those don't merge, you will have crisis. Okay. And the failure is a result of crisis.
Okay. We don't want to continue to have crisis.
Yes.
But I asked earlier, that the punitive measure, are there sanctions that are well?
They are well written. There is application.
We still have increase in this.
Yes.
Because if there's a proper sanction and is well implemented, we'll have reduction.
You will have problem of our legal system. If you look closely,
so it's not encompassing.
No, they are always trying to delay process. You've seen many cases in this. I don't want to mention particular ones that have been discussed that people didn't have proper approval. A building for a community use for hostel that is maybe 6 or 7 stories originally was designed for only 2 stories. And they are used and brought so many people in and the thing collapsed and killed people. They've done an inquisition arrangement, look into it, and the lawyers are regularly asking for postponement and nothing has been done.
Anyway,
so you have complications from different professions protecting illegality, and that is our problem.
You are still at the helm of affairs. I think at this point we'll introduce you as the president of the Academy of Engineers.
Nigerian Academy of Engineering.
Academy of Engineering.
Yes.
Okay, now let's deviate a bit. Yeah. You have served in several institutions.
Yes.
Federal Polytechnic Ilaro is one.
As a member of council.
Okay, as a member of council.
Yes.
Adding value in different ways.
Yes.
And then, of course, Ogun State Agri-Development.
Development Corporation, yes.
But the one that is more germane, you are the pioneer vice chancellor of
University of
Uyo.
Yes.
As much as we don't want to dwell so much on what you have done there, how you added value there, I want you to share with us how you were able to curb corruption. It's the bane now, particularly when we have a lot of institutions. In fact, recently I was at a function where the present JAM registrar, Professor Isaac, talked about the rot in the educational sector. Share with us your experience at UU.
The academic community just like the society. They are all intermingled. The people who live in society are the same ones living in the university. So if you have problem in the society, it migrates completely into the system. My experience is that corruption didn't start yesterday. Corruption has been with us for a long, long time. In fact, the word corruption was not invented in Nigeria. So corruption is everywhere in the world. But the thing is, to have proper upbringing, that you begin to remember whose child are you? Who is? My mother, when I was very young, was always saying, remember where you are from. And said, I only have two of you. I want you to have good names. So that always rang with me. So all the time, whenever I was always in any situation, I was always conscious. Because there will always be temptations. People will be asking you to do things that are illegal. And you sit up, no, I'm not going to be part of it. I'm not going to be this. And they will castigate you. So because of that, in most places, I don't have too many very close friends. But many people will respect me because they know that I stand for what is good. But because they didn't benefit from the things I do illegally, they won't be good friends to you. So some of them still complain, you didn't allow us to eat. When you are here, you are visiting us now, and so on. Maybe you will have been more prosperous. Because I said, but who told you I'm looking for more? I'm eating very well. I don't look dirty. I have old cars that work, and I have a house I can live in, and I can see my children, and I'm training them with whatever. So I'm fulfilled, completely fulfilled. So corruption is people, once greed takes them over, they lose focus and they get messed up. My experience is that the societies are the same way. Corruption is hinged on many things. Corruption is where people use their position to the benefit of only their relatives. Where people use their positions to the benefit of their friends. Where people use their position to their own greed and personal aggrandizement. So corruption has so many levels and wavelengths. So once you identify that you are going to try to do your best, you will be okay. But as a human being, you will still make some mistakes. Because I found that even in my experience at you, I made some mistakes I look back at. And I said no, because people wanted certain things to be done. Some of them we did, and we found that it wasn't correct. And you can't call it back. But on the whole, we did the best we can, and it's recognized.
Still chatting with Professor Fola Lasisi. He's also an engineer, a veteran one at that. You young engineers, I hope you're listening and taking tips. He's adding value and mentoring us on television. Let's go for a break now. Let's bring in a young entrepreneur that we feel has something to learn. What are the challenges? How have they been able to cope in this very harsh economic climate? So they will say. When we come back, of course, we'll have more thoughts to share from our veteran and Magnate for the week. We'll be back shortly.
Tie and dye is a general, let's say, working skill originated in Lagos. We do it the local way. It's for local people like us. And we pray that God should lift our hand and make it international. First, I learned from my place at Aguda. That's where I live. I grow with it. It's my childhood work. That's what I love to do because they do it in my area. And that's where the thing originated from Aguda, Surulere. We give God the glory. Because that's what I'm using to feed my family, my brothers, my sister, my kids, everybody. That's what I'm using. I have shop at number 7 Sikende Street at Aguda, where we fabricate a lot of designs, move down to Abeokuta to sell. We face a lot of challenge because of this border closure, because that's where they bring our clothes. now is more expensive. It's more expensive now. Even the dials, because we buy dye from gem dye, is expensive now because of the border close-up. My advice for them is just to keep calm, because these people I'm learning now, they are like, this work is hard, this work is hard. I said, that is why me too I'm here, to let you to know that it's hard, but if you can stay with it, you will go a long way with it.
You're welcome back. The program is The Magnate, where we have the veterans lending a voice to the growth of our business. And of course, also mentoring on television. We've been sharing thoughts with Professor Engr Fola Lasisi. Thank you very much for adding value.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, now, because it's The Magnate,
Yeah.
and we want the young ones to learn from your wealth of experience. And there's always this mantra that the young entrepreneurs, SMEs, drive the economy.
Everywhere.
With this harsh climate, so most people are complaining and all that. What's your counsel for the young entrepreneurs, be it young engineers, young agriculturists, and
What we teach is, first of all, that people must have some dreams. The thing is that SME has developed because individuals have any dreams. So if you don't have any dream, there's nothing to push you forward. And people just want money. And money doesn't come unless through corruption, without any serious contribution to something. So if it is a small thing you can contribute, the first is to identify what you will like to change. Where will you want to contribute something? I teach this to my children and to my students. Can you sit down sometimes? I will ask them to go home. Keep writing some ideas down. Get into the habit of waking up sometimes in the night. Something will come to you, write it down, because you will forget. And I created during my teaching experience that when you wake up on the day, every day, write down what you want to do. It's been my habit. Once I got up and had my morning prayer, I write down what I want to do today. Okay. So and in the process, there are things there that I'm trying to do. That in addition to what I normally do, what do? I put there, for example, one of my son, I want him to do certain things. I've written it down. I'm going to talk to him. So once I have written his name down, I'm going to talk to him. I know that once I've seen his name, I know what I'll discuss. And the thing is that he is looking at some things he can do. And look, bring it forward and move forward. I don't ask my children, they come, they say, you know some people, you want to apply. I say, no, I'm not going to get in touch with anybody. Because I've tried and they say there's no vacancy. What can you do? You went to school. What can you do with your knowledge? Even if you don't have anything to do, can you find something that is different?
Turning your passion to profits,
yes,
so to say.
Yes.
Now let's talk a bit about agric. That is, like I said earlier, that is
the thing and the thing that can help us.
You know, before now, we're just concentrating
on oil, yes. So and agriculture is always there.
We are now moving away from the mono products to encouraging people to. And like you said, when we met, you were the guest speaker of food security.
Yes.
How do you go about encouraging everybody?
The first is for people to see, to understand.
Value chain.
Yes, that agric encompasses everything. If we are looking at our clothes now, agriculture produces cotton. And even other fibers. If you look, there is they used to produce bags for cocoa and palm kernel bags. They call them jute bags, but they are made from kenaf. There is a plant called kenaf, and the kenaf grows wild in Nigeria. And the first professor in my department, Nigerian Professor Magnate, produced out the cultivating of this kenaf 50 years ago. and that can be used, and you get the machine to produce them into. So all these things were not carried forward. So there are so many byproducts that can come. But the core of it is that agriculture produces food. If you get food to a hungry fellow, it can do so many other things. So if you solve that and you clothe him, you also get from agriculture, from the rural areas, housing. Those are the three basic things that you need in life.
That's true.
So agriculture really takes care of these three basic needs. And the money that you need to spend to buy other things will also come as a byproduct of agriculture. So if you promote agriculture properly, America has always prided itself that it can feed the whole world. And only 5% of the population is in agriculture. Because you now look at how you can produce everything very efficiently and so on. And Nigeria is blessed with land that can produce a lot of things. But the thing is, for the mindset of the average fellow to think that he can do something in the farm that will help. So in my community, we set up an empowerment group, which I'm the chairman in my small community at home, and we raise money. People like this, we give them 200, 250, half a million, and it changes their life.
That is the mentoring.
And they are living at home. They are living right at home.
That's lending
And
advice
useful.
to business
And I'm benefiting because this fellow now looks after anything in my house. Even in my own house, if there's any problem electrical, will call me, there's contact this fellow. Because I don't live there.
I think the pressure is off you.
It's off me. And I'm benefiting in so many ways.
All right,
So the issue is that you can help people, and indirectly you are helping yourself in so many ways.
Yes.
And that is what we want to get to people. People are so selfish that they don't really think that when they do things, they also benefit. So almost not indirectly anymore. The economists call it multiplier effect.
Yes.
The things when you produce, the things, it has the ripple effect in so many ways, and we all become better for it.
So if there's any other final counsel that you have for all, we'd like to really thank you.
I'm always interested in young people who really are the people that we have dreams that will be better for us. And I've always said this at many programs. In our academy, since I became a member of the executive almost 12 years ago, I've been encouraging those I saw that are really going to make a difference to join us. And I feel very happy that they are proving me right. One of my former students finished not too long ago as the Vice Chancellor of Obafemi Law University, is Professor Faborode. So when we were giving lecture 2-3 years ago, about 2 years, I said I want to invite him to come and give us a dinner talk. He has invited me to Abuja when he was Secretary of the Committee of Vice Chancellors to come and give, and I gave speech. So I said, now I'm going to invite you to come. And I was ready. When he finished, I said, look, haven't you seen that? My former student is better than me. He's far better than me. And these are the realizations people must give. You must have the realization that for this country, the world to be better, those coming behind you, what can you do them whether they are better than you? And I'm not seeing enough of that around. People want to be lone rangers that are just striding over the place. And Allah tells us that when you walk as a pride person over the soil, under which you are going to end, you are not living right. And that keeps coming to my head. You are going to end under the floor. You are going to end in the ground. Can you bring up younger ones who are better than you? And I'm seeing plenty of that. So I feel fulfilled. Totally fulfilled.
On that note, that we would like to thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Professor Engr Fola Lasisi, the President, Nigeria Academy of Engineering.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It has been my pleasure.
Thank you,
Great pleasure indeed.
For sharing your thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you.
That has been our program today, The Magnate. And I'm sure you really enjoyed the Magnate we brought to you. Engineer Professor Fola Lasisi, the President, Nigeria Academy of Engineering. I'm sure you have learned one or two things from what he has told us. Why don't you join us same time next week when we shall bring you an equally vibrant, educated, and qualified magnate on this program. Join us then. Bye for now.